How's it going, everybody? We are back again for another Dokkan battle video. And alright, so we got a hell of a surprise very late last night. We got two big announcements last night. This is for JP Dokkan, for the Tech Kefla celebration. We got the announcement of the next summonable LR, as you can see on screen, a new STR GOKU and Hit duo card. Definitely out of left field. A lot of us were thinking it was just going to be a standalone LR hit, but a very surprise welcome indeed. This is a unit that a lot of people have wanted for a very, very long time. So I'm glad to see that it's finally implemented into the game. And then we got a surprise EZA in the form of Tech DOKKANFEST Hit. Now, this is one of the more newer DOKKANFEST units to get an EZA outside of what, into UI GOKU or something like that. No, UI GOKU's older. Like the Tech GOKU, excuse me, not even the AGL transforming GOKU and Tech transforming Frieza. They were like some of the newer units that got EZAs very recently. Hit just came out like a little, like we're approaching 3 years on Global Dokkan, right? But yeah, he's still, like, he was the very first dual category lead and whatnot. Yeah, this is a definite surprise because there is a number of units, an absolute number of units. Like I'm thinking like what, 10, 15 plus DOKKANFEST units that came out long before this guy did that are in line for their EZA. So, but nonetheless, I mean, Hit getting EZA is desperately needed. I mean, him of all units, I mean, outside of his dual category lead, Hit was really frowned upon the moment upon his release, unfortunately. You could really make the argument that before his EZA, he was like really one of the worst DOKKANFEST TURs in the entire game, to be perfectly honest. Now, though, it's a completely different story, and I'm going to quickly break down the information we got from the homie Goresh, as usual. So huge shout out to Goresh, and then of course we have the breakdown of Tech DOKKANFEST Hits EZA. So without further ado,
let's talk about it!
Alright, so first, I'm going to go over the STR GOKU and Hit unit, right? So they have a brand new category being implemented into the game, which is High Speed Battle. I'm not really too sure what that could imply, but if I had to guess, that really is going to be a very limited category. It's probably going to be units or characters that have been stated to be one of the fastest people in the Dragon Ball universe, like Birder, for example, GOKU, and Hit, obviously. There are just some of the names that come to mind, right? And then obviously Universal Survival Saga category T4, 150% across the board. Now, before we break down GOKU and Hit, and then DOKKANFEST Hit, the main thing that you need to keep in mind, these two are now going to be best buddies with one another, and they are really going to be built for super battle situations, right? So they raise attack and defense upon their super attacks, and then they also have a 50% chance to stun on both 12 and 18 keys, so that's great. 170% attack and defense to start a turn, obviously super incredible. Gain 6 key and an additional 60% attack and defense, and guaranteed to hit and disable enemy guard, and a 50% chance to evade enemy attacks as the first or second attacker in a turn. So the passive is obviously gain, what are we talking about, 230% attack and defense basically, and 6 key, and a 50% chance to evade enemy attacks while you're the first or second attacker in a turn. That's very good. That's very, very good. And then if you are the third attacker in a turn, if you try and float them off rotation, they gain 7 key and an additional attack 70% and perform a 30% chance to perform a super attack as the third attacker in a turn. Not as great, but obviously still super good, especially when you need to float them off. They lose that extra defense and dodging, so you do want to keep that in mind. Then they have an active skill effect where post 3 super attacks launched by this unit and your HP is below 76%, you gain a permanent buff of attack and defense plus 13%. On paper, that might not seem like much, but implemented in game, that's a huge buff. Like, we're talking about their defense and attack is going to skyrocket once this active skill actually goes off. The only downside is, of course, is that you need to launch 3 super attacks. So if you have this unit at 55% in the do system, you're not seeing this attack and this active skill until post like around turn 8 or something like that, because obviously they do not have built-in additionals unless you're in the 3rd attacking slot. So that's something you need to keep in mind for longer events, right? But with a duper tune this unit, yeah, best case scenario, you can see this attack by this active skill by turn turn 6 or something like that. It's not great, but it's solid to say the least. And of course, they are on High-Speed Battle, Universal Survival Saga, Joint Forces, and Legendary Existence categories. So not a huge roster of categories, but nonetheless, they are very, very good. I would say, arguably, they're a lot better than like some of the recent summonable LRs, like, for example, maybe AGL, Krillin, and Gohan. I think I like them better than Goku and Piccolo, for example. Do I say they're better than Exchange, Vegeta, and Goku? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. And then we also have the EZA announcement for DOKKANFEST Hit. Now, obviously, the main struggles that Hit had is, you know, prior to his EZA, he had no defense. Look at this. No defense whatsoever, not even upon his super attack defense. The only defense he was getting was from his leader skill, and that was it. So this guy got virtually no defense whatsoever. Now they fixed that. They gave him so much defense, it's not even funny. Raising defense upon his super attack, which is a 30% buff, okay? Then, per Universe 6 category ally attacking in the same turn, you get an additional attack and defense plus 20%. That does count for himself, by the way. So he is permanently giving himself an extra 20% attack and defense. Then, you have a 30% chance of stunning all enemies at the start of the turn if all the attacking allies in the turn are of Universe 6 category. It's not great, but it's always a nice extra chance to prop that stun potential. Then, obviously, right here, attack and defense 160%, obviously super amazing, but he only gets that when you're performing a super attack, so you realistically want to keep him in the 2nd slot. Plus an additional 80% attack and effective against all types when the target enemy is stunned. Obviously, that is Hit's main gimmick, is that this guy becomes an absolute monster if the enemy is stunned. And then attacked enemies minus 20% and defense minus 80% for 2 turns, and then high chance to stun the attacked enemy for 1 turn. So the bottom line with these 2 units is that these guys are going to be super battle road killers, without question. Especially like for their categories, like they'll share High-Speed Battle, Universal Survival Saga, and Legendary Existence. So for those 3 categories that they do share with one another, these 2 are going to be like the ultimate combo for Super Battle Road. In long events, that's where they really do seem like they don't struggle. Realistically, both units should be fine for longer events, but they're built for Super Battle Road situations where you can actually stun enemies and stuff like that. So, bottom line is, these are some fantastic new additions. Hit's EZA was desperately needed. I can't wait to really see him in game. I'm super excited to see what he can do, to be perfectly honest. This Hit's EZA makes him borderline go from like an F tier Dokkanfest to like A or S tier Dokkanfest, bare minimum. Like he's very good now. Like they fixed his main flaw of him being an absolute glass cannon. They gave him more chances to stun, and they made him stronger and work better with a lot of the other different units on the team, as well as now having a new best buddy in STR.Goku and Hit. Yeah, they really did a job well done on Hit's EZA. I really couldn't have asked for much more than that. Definitely excited to see what he looks like in game. I can imagine that these is definitely going to be one of the more stronger combos in the entire game now, without question, in my personal opinion. So definitely looking forward to see what these 2 will look like in game. Hopefully we'll see the data download later tonight. But all in due time, of course, but definitely a surprise welcome. I was definitely not expecting Hit to get an EZA so soon, but definitely welcome to see that Hit is getting an EZA and getting some respect on his name finally, since, you know, for pretty much in all of Hit's history on Dokkan Battle, he's been more of a meme and barely unusable. Now we're getting 2 Hit units that are, you know, basically must run on their suggested teams, right? So job well done. Can't really ask for much more than that. I think they did a great job on Hit's EZA. I think they did a great job on the God Goku and Hit unit. Definitely one of the better summonable LRs to come out in 2021. Definitely looking forward to see what happens with them. And that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys on the next one.